now turn up.
Do you want this Jerry Jeudy signed jersey? All we have to do is hit 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to be giving that away to one of you guys. All you have to do is be a subscriber. All right, so we're going to be reviewing rounds 2 and rounds 3 of the NFL draft. We're going to be going through running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. We're going to be seeing where some of these positions, where some of these players went, and what I think about their dynasty rookie value, which is all that you probably care about if you're in a dynasty league, and that's why you're here. Overall, man, this was a really, really tough draft because I thought a lot of good players went to not so great landing spots, and we're going to go through them. Some of them went to really good landing spots, but man, it just made the draft so much tougher. I mean, if some of these players went into just okay landing spots, it would have made it so much easier, the draft. But it's never easy. It just really never is. Of course, I have my son Jackson here. He's sleeping right now. He may wake up and freak out, but right now he's sleeping. So we're going to start with running backs. Javonte Williams, of course, drafted 3rd pick in the 2nd round. He was my RB3 going into the draft, right behind Travis Etienne. Him and Travis Etienne really could flip-flop back and forth, but he went to Denver. And so what do I think about Denver? Well, I think Melvin Gordon's 28. I know that, so it's a fact. I think Melvin Gordon is getting towards the end of his career. Do I think he lasts beyond 2021? I do not. So I think Javonte Williams is going to have a very kind of eased into his rookie year. Think a lot of like the Cleveland situation where Nick Chubb was basically non-existent for the first 6-7 games, and then you saw Nick Chubb take over that role and not give it back and not even be close to giving it back. That's where Javonte Williams is. Compared to Travis Etienne, I think Javonte Williams has a slightly better situation because Travis Etienne is going to have James Robinson being a pest. I like James Robinson. He's young. James Robinson is actually what I consider a decent running back. If you watch the film, he is that. And people will go like, well, it was all in garbage time. If you can be a really good running back, if they're running the ball and they're still giving it to you in the 3rd quarter when they're down by 21, it means that they're committed to the running system, which I think will show into 2021. But, I mean, James Robinson is a good running back. And Travis Etienne is not a prototypical 3rd down running back. He's a swing guy. He is a RB angle type of, he's a very dump off type of running back. He's not going to be running routes. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not Alvin Kamara, at least not yet. He hasn't improved it to that point. So you're going to see a lot of this, like, well, neither one of them are amazing pass catchers. So you're going to have this kind of weird split time. But anyways, Javonte Williams, what was frustrating is there was about 5 different spots. He could have went to Atlanta. He could have went to Miami, the Jets. He could have even went to San Francisco. Like, he could have went to a lot of these different places, and I would have been happy with that situation. He could have went to Arizona. He even went to Seattle, and it would have been like, yes, 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 yes. But Denver is like that, just kind of probably equal with Travis Etienne. But right now, I'm just going to say, just initial reaction, I'm going to have if your draft is today or tomorrow, I'd say Javonte Williams, 102. Yes, I'm having him over Travis Etienne. The difficult decision will be, are you going to take some of these wide receivers like Chase and Smith who have really good landing spots over some of these running backs? That is going to be the toughest decision, and we'll go through that in the next couple days here. So if you have a draft and you have that question, please comment below, and I'll try to answer that as quick as I can. All right, round 3, pick 25. The guy that I thought was going to be close to being picked with Javonte Williams was Trey Sermon. So he was the next guy up. He's my RB8 going into the draft. I knew that this, I didn't know, I'm not a Nostradamus. I had guessed that this was going to happen, where he was going to get drafted over Michael Carter and Kenneth Gainwell and even Jamar Jefferson. Like, I thought he was going to get drafted over those players, and he did. But round 3 capital, and he's at San Francisco. San Francisco, a wonderful landing spot. You have Mostert, who's getting older, 29. And then you have Jeff Wilson, who is this good running back when it shows. Trey Sermon fits right along with those running backs. Can get hurt, but he's not the elite speed like a Mostert. He's my biggest comparison to him is he's like a mix between like J.K. Dobbins and LeGarrette Blount. Kind of like if you had J.K. Dobbins' like quickness and speed and everything like that, and LeGarrette Blount's power and everything like that, he's like right in between. So he has a chance of being a really good fantasy production there. So you're going to see Trey Sermon rising up these boards, and honestly, draft capital shows it too. Like he could definitely be the Tevin Coleman role when Tevin Coleman was healthy, and that's the key, is Trey Sermon has to be healthy as well. Where's Trey Sermon go? He's going to be moving up in the boards. He's 8 pre-draft, depending still where Kenneth Gainwell goes, where Michael Carter goes. Right now we're seeing maybe he's between RB 4 to 6-ish probably, just because, again, there's a big drop-off of capital when it comes from rounds 1 through 3 to 4 through 6. So Trey Sermon, I know we've only gotten through 2 running backs so far. We got a lot left. Wide receivers, Elijah Moore. Oh, this one broke my heart because I was really hoping Elijah Moore was going to go somewhere amazing, and I was just going to be like, Elijah Moore, wide receiver 4. Like, that was going to be what I was about to hope to say. But as a Jet, you have Corey Davis, who just signed a contract there. You have Denzel Mims, who's in the sophomore year of his contract. Yeah, this is just so frustrating because I'm like, Jets, why do you do this to me? Why do you draft Elijah Moore when you could have drafted Javonte Williams? You could have drafted you could have even drafted Trey Sermon, and that would have been a better even situation for Trey Sermon. Zach Wilson's not going to be able to pass it to everybody. Yes, you could put 3 wide receivers out there. Elijah Moore is a awesome 5'9" wide receiver that's 190 pounds. Like, he is elite. This is going to mess up this whole. You're going to have the Carolina Panthers of 2020, basically. Maybe not as good, but you're going to have these wide receivers that you are going to be very inconsistent, and we're going to get to the Carolina Panthers. You're going to have very inconsistency. You're going to have maybe wide receivers that get 800-900 yards, but you're not going to know how it's going to be a 150-yard game for Elijah Moore one week. You're going to have 100, 120. Corey Davis is already unpredictable. Corey Davis is going to continue his unpredictability. And honestly, Denzel Mims is going to, I really like Denzel Mims, and his value is going to take a hit. This is hard for everyone. Where does Elijah Moore go? He might move. He might move down a spot. Or there's a guy. We'll get to it. That was drafted 25 picks later that I like even better now, just because of his situation. Man, that sucks. It really was frustrating because I really wanted Elijah Moore to go to a really good spot, and he didn't. Because even Tennessee or somewhere where he was the clear-cut beta. Talent will win out, and Corey Davis is super talented, but maybe he is the one that fails out. One of these 3 guys is not going to succeed, probably. So Elijah Moore definitely takes a little bit of a hit because he had such great opportunity to be drafted somewhere awesome. 217, Rondale Moore. This is an awesome pick. I mean, Rondale Moore goes to Arizona. I had him going to New England for so long, but Arizona is an awesome spot. I mean, you're talking about A.J. Green, older, bigger wide receiver. Larry Fitzgerald, older, bigger wide receiver. Nuke, who is an amazing wide receiver. Rondale Moore will fit into this like Christian Kirk role. I honestly think Rondale Moore might get. The only problem about Rondale Moore is he might be utilized better for the team and not for fantasy. Like, you might see him make these really, really good plays, but honestly for fantasy, it might not be what you need. So he's still going to be my wide receiver 5. He's just going to kind of sit there and stay there. I don't think I'm going to have him above Bateman because Bateman's still going to have the opportunity to be the elite wide receiver, even though his quarterback stinks. And we're going to have to try to bet on Lamar Jackson. That is the toughest part about this. And Rondale Moore is just going to be really good for a team. So Rondale Moore, Kadarius Toney, like those types of wide receivers are going to be really good for the NFL teams, but maybe not great for fantasy. And we care about fantasy, and that is it. When you get these little tiny wide receivers, unless they are amazing, I mean, I don't see Rondale Moore being like a Tyreek Hill or anything like that. I don't see that in my opinion. All right, let's go to the next one. Dwayne Eskridge. He's my wide receiver 12, but he went to Seattle again. A wide receiver I really liked, and it was moving up on my boards. I mean, he's a dangerous slot receiver, 5'9", 190. I looked at him and I go, okay, well, Seattle, you have Tyler Lockett, who just signed a contract. If he didn't just sign a contract, that'd be different. And then you have DK Metcalf. This is a running team, ultimately. This is just a bad spot for Dwayne Eskridge. I really don't like this spot. He'll probably stay at wide receiver 12-ish. I mean, there might be a couple people that jump ahead of him, but again, not as bad as the next wide receiver, who is 225 right after him, Tutu Atwell, 5'9", 155. That's how much he weighs. He's lightning quick, but he went to the Rams. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson. That's all I really need to say. And they have Tyler Higbee and they have Cam Akers. Like, I'm not drafting anybody. He was already wide receiver 18. I am putting him he's probably going to stay right around there. Like, he's not moving up because of this. There may even be this is where you're going to have the decisions. Do you draft a wide receiver in round 3, which has the draft capital and quote unquote better chance of succeeding, or do you draft a round 4 wide receiver that is in a maybe better situation? So we're gonna have these big, huge battles between analytics and talent and video, and it's just gonna be a clash, and it's gonna be sweet, kind of. It's gonna actually be more frustrating, mostly for people that have to do videos every day. But we need a lot of conversation talking. So this guy almost went to wide receiver 6, and him and Elijah Moore are going to be right neck and neck. It's going to be Terrace Marshall. He's going to Carolina. We look at the situations here. We have Moore and Anderson are going to be unrestricted free agents here in 2022. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He had some focus drops, but his ability and talent is really, really good. We saw what they did with 3 wide receivers last time. There is no Curtis Samuel there. I mean, well, basically, you're going to have Christian McCaffrey. He's going to have his 8 million catches. Terrace Marshall might be one of these, like, and why he might be wide receiver 7, might be one of these, like, I'm going to hold for a year and know that his year is going to be like Denzel Mims of 2020, where it's like, man, that wasn't really good. But then now Robbie Anderson's gone. And now I have this chance of being maybe the beta to I think DJ Moore's more talented. I think he's going to, and I could be the Robbie Anderson to DJ Moore, where you're having a 1,000-yard wide receiver coming, like, he's wide receiver 7 for me, so that means you're talking about maybe early to mid-second round that you get a guy that is in their sophomore year and they're hitting 1,000 yards. So that's huge. So I really, really do. At first, I was like, Carolina, why'd you do that? But now I'm feeling a little bit better about that decision. Round 3, pick 14, Josh Palmer, wide receiver 26 on my list. I mean, the only reason I really like this kind of situation, he went to the Chargers. Mike Williams is going to be a free agent after the end of this year. He's 6'1", 210. He's long arms. He's got solid body control, but I mean, he's not a super talented wide receiver. So he'll move up just because of draft capital. I mean, he won't be wide receiver 26. He'll probably be like wide receiver right around Tutu Atwell. He'll be above, maybe Tutu Atwell will be 19 and he'll be 18. Because honestly, I mean, at least he'll be a Charger, which is a good situation compared to Tutu, where he's in an absolutely horrible situation. And in round 3 capital, which is good. So round 3, pick 19, Diami Brown. He was my wide receiver 15, goes to Washington. Again, project. He is going to be a guy that is super raw. He's 6'1", again, 189, 4.4 speed, but limited route tree. I mean, just imagine him being a 2021 just you're going to not pretend like you have him on your roster, because he's not going to be super valuable now. He's going to be somebody down the road because Washington's already got Terry. They already got Curtis Samuel. I don't see Diami Brown being a super solid wide receiver until maybe 2022. It depends what their quarterback situation is too. This guy is moving up for sure because it is Amari Rodgers, 5'10", 212. Think Randall Cobb. That is the role that you want to think. He's my wide receiver 13, but he's going to be moving up because Green Bay is a wonderful spot. And Amari Rodgers is somebody that I definitely have been liking. And wide receiver 13 is no joke. I mean, you're talking about you're getting into these, he's kind of into that Dwayne Eskridge, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tylan Wallace, and those guys might be moving down with this bad draft capital. And Amari Rodgers might be moving on up along with the next guy, which is Nico Collins, 6'4", 215. He's a huge vertical threat. Of course, out of Michigan, and Michigan had their issues with their COVID season and stuff like that, but he goes to Houston. And, well, speaking of which, we don't know who their quarterback is. We might have a little kind of preview of who their new quarterback might be, but him and Amari Rodgers, I could see them being wide receiver 10 and 11 or 9 and 10. Because this big wide receiver, like tier 3 and 4, are so close to each other. Between wide receivers, honestly, I guess you could say after probably Terrace Marshall, wide receiver 8 and 15 are pretty close. So there was a lot of different variables that can move them around. A lot of this is draft capital. So Amari Rodgers, Nico Collins, I will put all the rankings in here. Probably early next week is probably when I'll start, like, because I don't want to do these quick reactions where I'm moving all these rankings every single day and be like, oh, no, what? Never mind. I like Nico better. And then like 2 days later, oh, no, I like Mari better. It's like, I want to at least have them set in concrete so then I can at least give you the updated stuff. All right. Anthony Schwartz, Round 3, pick 28. He's my wide receiver 27, even worse than Josh Palmer. He is pure speed, track guy, and I don't care. And that's pretty much about it. Yeah. So, all right, let's go to tight ends. That's all I think about Anthony Schwartz. I don't think he's a wide receiver. I think he's a track guy. You always see it. You can see this track guy that's super fast that can't play wide receiver. That's Anthony Schwartz. All right, tight ends. We got Pat Freiermuth. He's my tight end 2. Went to Pittsburgh. I forgot to look up Eric Ebron's contract situation, which makes me frustrated because I wanted to look that up, but I don't have that on hand. So whatever is, I can't be too long, but Eric Ebron's getting a little bit older. I feel like he's getting older. Man, I hope he's getting older. But Pat Freiermuth will be my tight end 2. This is a really good situation for him, at least with Big Ben. I don't know what his situation will be going forward. I mean, they don't have a quarterback going forward, so that'll be a very interesting situation to see. But he will be my tight end 2. Brevin Jordan, not even picked in this draft yet, which is my tight end 3. So we're going to go into round 3, pick 18. Hunter Long, which is my tight end 4. He goes to the Dolphins. 6'5", 254. I mean, you're talking about like one of the other, there was a big 4 kind of in this. Pitts was by himself, and then you'd say, well, I mean, some people would say Hunter Long was number 2. Like ESPN ranked him as number 2. Hunter Long is my number 4. Just going to Miami just is not a situation that I like because you got Gesicki there. Unless Gesicki's going to move, and maybe Gesicki does. So Hunter Long is going to probably stay my tight end 4 because there's such a big gap between him and tight end 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're just going to have to kind of deal with it. But that's what I believe. All right, so Hunter Long, going to be tight end 4. Might be worth a stash, especially if Gesicki does move on. I mean, so round 3, pick 20 is Tommy Tremble. He is out of Notre Dame. He is my tight end 6, and he goes to Carolina. A really good situation, but if you think he's ahead of Hunter Long, you got to know what kind of player you're getting. You're getting a run blocker. You're getting Irv Smith, but not as good pass catching and more run blocking. So Tommy Tremble he's a really good football player. A really good run blocker, pass blocker, but not a really good tight end that you want in fantasy football. That's honestly what you're getting out of him. Being 6'3", 241, he's got good size, but I mean, I see him more of as like this, like H. I mean, he played a little bit of H-back stuff too, like that. So, I mean, he's going to be my tight end 6. He's going to kind of stay there. My tight end 5, though, is Trey McKitty. Round 3, pick 34. Oh yeah, that's right. They have the compensatory picks. I was like, there's not more than 32 teams with compensatory picks. 6'4", 246. Some say 6'5", 246, which is pretty cool. Didn't have any really good college production, but again, the guy has the size. The guy has the raw abilities, and he's actually a decent route runner and everything like that. He's my tight end 5 pre-draft. Man, my arm's getting a little tired here. He's my tight end 5 going into pre-draft, so he'll stay there. I mean, tight ends didn't really move at all. It's just you get some of these situations and sometimes you don't. All right, we're gonna go to quarterbacks real quick. Kyle Trask goes to the Bucks. Last pick of the second round, 6'5", 236 is wild what they put him. I feel like he wasn't that tall. Nah, whatever. He's a bad Phillip Rivers. Did you see Phillip Rivers the last couple of years as a Colt and a Charger? That is what you're getting. Kyle Trask is somebody his upside is just nothing. I mean, that is why I am not picking Kyle Trask. You thought Mac Jones was a bad mobility? I mean, Kyle Trask is even worse. He is a statue there in the pocket. Kellen Mond, round 3, pick 2 to my Vikings, which is awesome. He's out of Texas A&M. He has a lower accuracy, but he has decent awareness, decent arm strength. We're talking about high upside. Is this the guy that takes over after Kirk Cousins' 2-year contract? You're talking about a long-term play. I like Kellen Mond. I really do. I thought he was going to go into the early second round when it came to a pick, or even mid-second round when it came to a pick. He went all the way to the third round. So Kellen Mond is one of those, like, let's just stash him. I mean, stash him and know that he might be a couple years down the road. So he's going to be behind the next guy that I have because it's David Mills. Were you shocked when you saw David Mills getting picked with Houston's first pick? They had their third overall pick in the third round. And out of 6'4", 217-pound guy, they picked from Stanford, a guy that has, I would say Houston's not a great situation for him. At least I thought, because he is so raw. I mean, or at least a little bit of tape. You have 11 games he started. He locks onto wide receivers. He doesn't work through his progressions very well. But, I mean, he has his mobility. It's a really good mobility and really good arm strength. So maybe this is a good spot for him. This also might be a sign that Deshaun Watson is in more heat than we thought. Because if you're going to use your first overall draft pick in 2021 for that, that is not a good sign. Like, that is, if anything, you put your draft picks where your mouth is. And if your thoughts are that David Mills is your first overall pick, instead of getting him a wide receiver or a tight end or anything, or getting him an offensive line, you pick his backup or maybe his starter, that is really, really concerning. So just overall in general, I feel like that is a red flag that Deshaun Watson is potentially not going to play in either 2021 or 2022 whenever this legal stuff carries out. I'm going to see if he lays down. Let's see if he lays down. Maybe. He makes little noises. If you can't hear that, that's him making noises. Either that or he's pooping. That's parenthood right there. So, yeah, and I was like, I'm going to stay up for the draft, and then I didn't. So, there's that. Yeah, overall, I felt like a lot of draft picks went to not great places, and that's kind of where we're at here. I know that this video is 21 minutes long here, and I really am interested to see where some of these fourth rounders go, but I understand that when you're fourth round and on, like, you stop the video now and know that fourth round and on, your chances of hitting are a lot less. So you really got to love some of these talented, like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Terrace Marshall got drafted. Sorry, Tylan Wallace is who I was thinking. Brevin Jordan, tight ends are a little different, but you're talking about these running backs. Kenneth Gainwell, who I loved. Goodbye 104. Like, he's not going to be 104. His talent, I loved Kenneth Gainwell, and I've loved him since day one. But he can't be ahead of these wide receivers anymore. My quick reaction, actually, I'm going to do my quick reaction of where I think the top 10 are going to be. All right, we'll do that in the next video. All right, peace out. See you later.
Now turn up.